Hello everybody and welcome back to my Minecraft playtime series where I have been super busy getting ready for our next project. I did some of the obvious stuff like texturing the big spruce wall behind the staircase, and I even went ahead and added a roof on top of it so that we can stop being annoyed by all that daytime light. But I also did some tedious resource gathering. In particular, for today's project I'm going to need a whole lot of black concrete, so I gathered the sand, grabbed a shulker box of gravel from our piglin bartering system, and even set up a little mini concrete hardification system. Not really sure what that's called, but I used that to harden all of the concrete, and so now we have 2 full boxes of black concrete, and I am absolutely praying that that's enough because I'm so tired of dealing with concrete. I really need to make an automatic version of this because it is so tedious. But that's all in the past because today we are once again going to embark on a journey to do something that I have never attempted before. That's right. We are going to create an amethyst farm. And like I said last time, I'm a little bit scared, but mostly I'm just so excited. This is gonna be such an interesting new challenge. And, well, I've been putting quite a bit of thought into how I want to do this. But the first step is really obvious, and that's gonna be to completely get rid of all of this stuff, except for all the amethyst. And when I say amethyst, I mean just these little amethyst, what are these called again? Budding amethyst, that's what it's called. We're gonna get rid of everything except for this budding amethyst, and then we can start to think about what we wanna do from there. But more than anything else, it's absolutely vital that we don't destroy any of these, because not only are they very easy to break, but they also do not drop when you break them, even if you're using Silk Touch. So if we ever accidentally destroy one of these guys, well then that's just gonna be a permanent decrease in efficiency for our farm. So we gotta be careful. That's one right there. You can see it has like a darker purple X there in the middle. That X stands for do not destroy. Well, that's the first and by far the easiest step of the process. I'm sure it's impossible to tell from the time lapse, but I was actually really careful when I went through and destroyed all this stuff. In fact, when I was destroying all the amethyst on the inside, I actually turned off the beacon up above just so I'd have that little extra breathing room, and I think I made it through without destroying any of them, despite a somewhat close call with a creeper over here. But I went back and checked the footage, and I think we were totally fine. We didn't destroy any of these. So I'm really excited about that. But with this all dug out, it's time to actually move to building the farm itself. And this is where things really start to get difficult. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you into a creative world and I'm going to kind of work you through the system that I have planned. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about this and designing it and perfecting it. And I'm pretty sure I've got it to the point where it actually is going to work and I'm super excited about it. But I don't really want to explain it here because, well, there's a chance that I can destroy things and I can't fix them in my survivor world. So to the creative world. I don't know why I walked in this direction. The creative world isn't up here. All right, here we are in a creative copy of the world, and I just wanted to real quick run through a couple of the mechanics involving amethyst that might be really useful for us. And the first one is how amethyst grows. So we've got the first, second, third, and then finally the fourth stages. And all 4 of these are really nice to use for building because they've got different sizes. However, for an automatic farm, the only one that we care about is actually this one. And if I real quick go into survival, then you'll see that I have a silk touch here and a regular pickaxe here. And if I use the regular pickaxe, they just disappear. However, if I use a silk touch, I can get it to drop itself, which is really useful. However, as far as I know, there's no way for me to automate a silk touch mining of a material. So what we're really after are these big ones, which if you don't silk touch them, then they'll drop these amethyst crystals right here. And these can be used to not only create amethyst blocks like this, they can also be used with glass to create tinted glass, which is a somewhat obscure but also fairly useful version of glass where essentially you can block all the light that comes through it. I suppose it's a lot more obvious if I actually block this off. There, you can see it doesn't let any of the light into the box there, so that's what tinted glass is good for, but we can worry about that later. What I want to talk about now is how we can actually go about automating a farm for this. And the easiest way that most people use is with pistons, because you can see if I put one of these big amethysts right here, then all I need to do is activate the piston and you can see the little amethyst crystals coming off right there. Now it's not quite as efficient as it would be if I were to say use a fortune pickaxe on it. However, it is automatic, which is really nice, and I think that's what I want to go for. I don't really want to go through and mine all through the amethyst clusters, and to be honest, more than anything, I think just the fun challenge of figuring out a way to automate this is kind of what I'm going for. Now most of the really efficient amethyst automatic farms, they'll use some version of pistons and observers and hoppers, and it's just a huge redstone blob inside of the amethyst cluster. But instead of that, I'm gonna actually be using flying machines. And now before any of you in the comments start thinking I'm a redstone genius, I didn't come up with this idea myself. I believe DocIm77 made a really similar amethyst farm in one of the previous Hermitcraft seasons. It's been a long time, so I don't know exactly where it was. But he used basically this setup, but I couldn't find any tutorials for it, so I kind of had to work out the details myself. But really, the whole concept of this is nothing really crazy. You can see if I put all of these amethyst crystals right around here, and then I arrange the slime blocks right around here, just so that it will perfectly envelop the budding amethyst right there. Then if I well, let me put there we go. That'll stop the flying machine from going too far. But if I just activate this, then you'll see it will go through and it will just break off all of those and it will push them out of the way, which is honestly a really effective way to do things. Now the fact that you can't actually pull along a budding amethyst block with slime blocks is really nice, because it means you can just surround it with slime blocks and then activate it, and it'll go straight through and it won't pull this along, which is really nice. However, you do need to be a little bit careful, because if I say put this right here and then activate it again, then it'll just completely destroy the whole thing, which is really bad, because like I said, once those things are gone, you can never get them back. So essentially what we're trying to do is we're gonna make like a sort of Tetris lattice pattern through here, and if we activate it, then it's gonna go straight through all of these amethysts and come out the other side without having actually destroyed any of them, and then all of the little amethyst crystals will fall down below. Now of course the amethyst cluster that we have over there is much bigger than this, so one flying machine isn't gonna be able to handle the whole thing, so we're gonna have to make a whole bunch of different flying machines. And one nice little trick that we can do is we can make every other one with slime and then honey and then slime and then honey like this, because slime and honey don't actually stick to each other. So you'll see if I go like this, then the slime isn't gonna stick to the honey right there. However, if I were to say bring a slime block out over here, then as soon as I activate this, then you'll see this slime block is gonna get pulled along. So by alternating using slime and honey blocks, we can put a whole bunch of flying machines right next to each other, and they shouldn't interact with each other and get destroyed or make them too big to actually be able to move, because we can only attach 8 slime blocks onto these little 2 right here. So you can see right on this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we put one more, it should still work perfectly fine. However, if we add another one on top of that, then it's suddenly going to be way too heavy to move. But that's really the meat of the farm mechanics wise, so if we head back to the real world, then using all that information, we can get a much better idea of what exactly we're looking at here. And while putting all this together is going to be by no means simple, I've got an idea that I think is going to make this a lot easier to do. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these moss blocks like this, and I'm basically just going to extend them out to here so that we'll have a good representation all along this line to let us know where exactly we need to arrange our flying machines. If that didn't make sense, then give me a second and hopefully it'll start to make sense. And just like that, we have a little bit of a stamp to show us exactly where we need to put our flying machines. It'll still take a little bit of finagling to get everything in there, and there are going to be some spots like right in here, there's just no way that we can get a flying machine in there, but I don't think it'll be too difficult to get almost everything. And I know I said that we shouldn't be destroying any of these, but in a couple cases like this one right here, you can see this one comes out to right here. So if we actually get rid of that one, then we'll be able to get all the way into here and we'll be able to get so much more. So I think maybe in a couple of places we might remove 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of these budding amethyst, just so that we get a little bit more accessibility in certain areas. But that's enough talking. Let's get back to work and get these flying machines going. Hey guys, future me here editing this video, and I came across an interesting chance to kind of peel back the curtain a bit and give you a tiny glimpse of how I make these videos, or at least my thought process as I make them. You see, I tend to record quite a bit, and then when I edit, I stitch everything together, removing the excess and adding a little bit when needed. And in this particular instance, I felt like for the sake of the video, it flowed better to have all of that stuff together in the time lapse. That being said, I don't want to remove all the life from the video by making it too perfect, and well, I think you guys will appreciate me including this, even if it is a bit embarrassing. Lining this up right here, and then putting that behind. I'm so tired of the rain. Like I'm not even joking. Every single time I try to start recording, it feels like the rain starts, and it's driving me crazy. But we're gonna deal with it for just a second while I put this one in. All right, here goes nothing. And it got stuck on something. Or maybe this is just too big? Oh, I know what I did wrong. I think I forgot to add the extra slime bits that are supposed to go. Yep. So I just didn't connect these two. So that's not a big deal. Destroy the platform. And then I need to actually add these honey blocks right there. All right. So now it should work. All right. I'm nervous again, but here we go. And it went right over the obsidian that I put there. Oh my goodness, of all the mistakes to make. All right, but whatever. It worked. It worked, right? We got a whole bunch of amethyst here on the bottom. So, you know, aside from that minor failure of putting the obsidian block 1 too low, I think we're fine. I'll just need to disconnect the honey blocks from... Oh, yeah, that's fine. I just need to disconnect all of these honey blocks from the wall because otherwise they'll stick to it, and that's not what I want. And I also need to unstick these two right here, which will destroy my beacon, but you know, it's not a big deal. I can add those back in just a second. Double check to make sure that I'm not missing anything. All right, so now I should be able to really simply go like that. Oh, it's annoying. Alright, went the wrong way. Alright, sorry. My inexperience with flying machines is kind of showing a little bit, but that's fine. Alright, I can solve this problem by using an obsidian block to do this the next time. Just need to destroy another one of these, and actually a couple more of these. Just all of it. And I can't jump on honey blocks. This is just going great. Alright, but if I use an obsidian block this time, then it should be fine. It won't be able to push past it anyway, and it should go... Well, actually, it'll probably pull this one back, which means I need to destroy a little more of my beacon. Okay, I'm gonna get ahead of this by getting rid of this ahead of time. So now it's gonna pull all of this back, and then it's gonna start pushing forward. I think that's right. Oh my god, I didn't use obsidian again. Okay, we'll try it again. Oh, if I was smart, I'd just edit all of this out of the video so that you guys can go on thinking that I'm not an idiot. Or at least you guys don't think I'm an idiot, right? Maybe you do. You'd probably be right. Alright, now I think we're completely disconnected from things being attached to honey blocks. There we go. Problem solved, hopefully. So if I just go like that, then... How do I get it to go the other way? Maybe if I go like that? Oh, it's still attached here. Oh my goodness. I swear I know what I'm doing, kind of. Alright, now we're good. Alright, please work. Please work. That's fine, that's expected. And now it should fly off. Oh. Alright. If every single one of them is that hard, I might lose my mind, but I think I shouldn't have those problems again. Or at least I really hope not. Yeah, that was a real struggle. Well, it's raining again because of course it is. But at least all of our flying machines are working perfectly. This rain is seriously driving me crazy. Let's come down here where we can't hear it. So if you look at the geode, you can see we got a lot of the little amethyst buds off of there. But there's actually still a whole bunch that we just didn't even touch. And in certain situations, it's just completely unavoidable because like all of these ones are in a line. And if we get all of these ones, then we have to destroy this one. Which, you know, now that I think about it, maybe it would have been better if I just destroyed this one as well, and then we could get... It doesn't matter. But you'll see that all the ones on these faces, there's no way for us to get those either. And I'm not really sure what I want to do about that. I mean, eventually I might make a whole bunch more flying machines and put them on this side. And then I could activate these ones, go across and back, and then have these ones activate and go across and back. And then we could maybe double our efficiency. I'm not sure. I'll probably end up doing that eventually, but I don't think I'm going to bother with it right now, just because I want to get this all finalized and figured out first. Which means the next step is going to be figuring out the docking stations. And the way these flying machines work is really quite simple. All you got to do is activate something in front of this observer, and it'll fly all the way to the other side and stop wherever you put some kind of block to stop it. But I really like the idea of having our flying machines fly all the way there and then all the way back as well, which means that I needed to make some kind of redstone device over on this side that would recognize that this arrived and then send it back. And that actually turned out to be a little bit easier than I thought. And it was mostly thanks to you guys and that redstone challenge that I did a while back and all the amazing tips you guys gave me. And the first thing I thought about when I sat down to make these was I need to recognize when this arrives. And since any sort of observer I use on top of a honey block or slime block is just gonna get pulled along like this, which is not a good thing. I needed to make sure that the observer was only going to be underneath this observer right here, which wouldn't pull it along. And that's exactly what I did here. I just set up an observer that would see when the other observer arrives on top of it, power this powered rail down below, which this second observer would check and put into a repeater, which would delay the signal just a little bit, then activating this other observer, which would activate the powered rails on top of that, which the observer that's sitting right here looking in this direction would then recognize and be activated by the activation of this powered rail. I think I might have said observer and activated just a few too many times, but hopefully that makes sense. I'll show you it right now. All right, so the observer comes in it is checked by that observer, activates this, which then sends this. It happened way too fast for me to explain, but you get the idea. And this system actually works perfectly. I mean, I can set up these and they'll fly straight across, and then they'll just be picked up and sent along. And honestly, this is really good enough for me in this world. But I saw this and I was just like, nah, I can definitely do better than that. So I tinkered with the design just a little bit, and I came up with this, which is a lot more compact. And really, the core design is basically the same. All I did was remove the powered rails and replace the lower one with a target block, which gets powered by this observer and then sent straight into this repeater right here, which again has to be delayed all the way, otherwise it'll go too fast. And then this observer checks the repeater, this observer checks this observer, and then as soon as this observer is activated, the incoming observer will recognize it and get sent along on its way. I don't know, I think me explaining it just makes it seem even more difficult than it really is, but I'll just show you real fast. So all I do is activate this, and you can see it sits there for just a second, and then as soon as this is activated again, then it just sends it right back. And I think this design is actually what I'm going to go with. I could probably make it a little bit more efficient, but you know, if I go too crazy with this, it just turns into a big time sink, and I only have so much time to put out these videos. So I'm going to leave it at this, which means the only thing left, which I've actually already done, is to set up a way to send all of the flying machines off at the same time, and just a little simple gate setup that's activated by a redstone signal. Yeah, that's really all I need. I might not do it this exact way. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I could just use a redstone signal going straight into the gate right here, but I mean, you get the picture. And just like that, we've got both ends of the docking system set up, and I'm so excited for you to see this. It's actually really satisfying. Eventually, we're gonna get this lever. We're gonna stick it way up there where we can access it more easily, but for now, and look at that. It works perfectly, and it goes right in between. We're not going to get very many amethysts, or maybe we're probably not going to get any at all, because I've been doing a whole bunch of testing with it as it goes. So yeah, we're not going to get any amethysts right now, but you can kind of imagine how it's going to work, since it's, well, this is basically it. I'll throw in a simple hopper minecart collection system down there here in just a second, but with the farm completed, I'd like to draw your attention to the final project of this episode, and I think rather than explain it to you, I'm just going to let you watch and find out. That was kind of cool. Do you like it? This is one of those things that I wasn't entirely sure exactly how it would turn out, but I think I actually really like it. It sort of gives that magical vibe that I was wanting to have, but it doesn't overdo it, or at least I don't think it does. Especially since we've got the little amethyst geode down there at the bottom. It gives you that feeling that the geode is, I don't know, creating some sort of magical energy that's floating the staircase, and I don't know. I think it's cool. One of the biggest problems though was actually lighting. I definitely don't want these torches down here, but I was really hoping that I could take some of this glow lichen. And let me just turn on the lighting chart right here. You can see all of this is spawnable right now, but if I put like some glow lichen right there on the bottom, then I think it should make it nice and unspawnable without making it look too bright or awkward. I don't know, let me double check here. Yeah, that looks fine. And then for the floor of the amethyst farm, it's a little bit more awkward because I can't really do a lot down here, and it's also a really big area to cover, but I think I did a pretty decent job of strategically placing the torches in places that you're not gonna see from most places up here. I mean, you can see it's not perfect from every single angle, but this one right here as you're walking in was really the only one that matters to me, because by the time we get down here, we're gonna be a lot more worried about what's in the storage than we are looking down and seeing, oh, there's a torch there. That's not too big of a deal, but all of those return mechanisms that we made, I think I might end up redoing those eventually. And by redo them, I basically just mean go back like maybe 10, 15 blocks just so that you can't see them from all the way here at the top. It's not like terrible. It maybe if you don't even know they're there, then you won't really pay too much attention to it because they blend in a little bit with the amethyst bits in there. But it's super visible to me and I don't like it. But I think that's going to have to be a project for another day. That and moving all this redstone all the way up to the top so I can activate it from up above. But if I just activate it real fast, and then we can go into free cam, and I'm just so happy with this. It's just so cool. You know, we're still not going to be getting that much amethyst because I haven't left it on for long enough, but just look at this. I'm just so happy with it. Mostly because I made it myself, and I don't know. That's kind of the most special machine to me. There's nothing quite like a machine you made yourself, especially considering how almost, I don't know, impossible this project seemed here at the beginning. When I started it, I really wasn't sure if I'd be able to finish it or if I'd even really be able to complete it. This is one of those things that just, I don't know, it was so intimidating, but once I really got down to it, it wasn't so bad. I think going forward, I could definitely make this design again and probably do it all in a fraction of the time, because once you know what you're doing, I mean, it's not that complicated. You just set up a bunch of flying machines in a little pattern around the geode, and then you set up the return mechanisms, and that's really all there is to it. And I mean, considering it was absolutely nowhere near being ready to harvest, I think 2 stacks of amethyst shards is actually pretty decent. And the other really awesome thing about this farm is that even if it's not super efficient, this is like right next to everything. So this is basically always going to be loaded. So yeah, I'm super happy about this. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did, and especially all of this little magical amethyst stuff coming up out of the geode. I hope you like that. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe there's something else I could add to it, or maybe I need to take away from it. Maybe I might even bring out a few into these areas in between the pathways. That could be cool. But either way, this is about all the time I have for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. And you'll have to let me know down in the comments, is there any other farm kind of like the amethyst farm that's a little bit obscure and maybe a tiny bit challenging that you don't really see many people building? If you can think of another one of those, maybe you could let me know. And who knows, maybe I'll give that one a try too sometime down the line. Oh, and I nearly forgot. I got a comment from Flipizona asking me how to set up all the item blockers and filters and stuff inside of the Mist V5, and I don't understand it super well myself, but hopefully this helps. You can set up one filter item inside of this hopper, just like this, and then up above here in all of these chests, you're gonna fill every single slot with another item filter. I don't know if it needs to be different from the other ones, but mine is, so maybe just make it different just in case. And then as soon as you're ready to decide what is going to go into each one of these, all you need to do is remove one of these and add 2 of something else, and then it'll be ready to be filtered. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. Wow, I was giving the video one last check before I upload, and I realized these target blocks aren't actually necessary. You can just destroy them and replace them with literally anything you want, and they still operate exactly the way they're supposed to. So if you commented telling me that, first of all, thank you so much. Every little like, subscribe, and comment that you guys leave helps the channel so much, so I really appreciate it. But second of all, I thought of it myself. But again, thank you.